So I'm really into also farming, and farmers, when farmers earn 1 shilling, it multiplies into the economy, and it becomes 2-3 shillings, because farmers use the money locally. So if we want to do something about poverty, if we want to create jobs, if we want to have growth in Kenya, the agricultural sector is absolutely vital. So we work a lot with that sector as well.
You mentioned,
but try to make sure that it's not just for their own consumption, but it goes to the market.
You mentioned that some of the projects is to encourage women into leadership.
Yes.
Can you specify what you do so that women? We have a problem here of trying to say 2/3 and 1/3. How are you helping that aspect? Because it's very controversial.
I've seen a lot of strong women in this country, so I'm not that concerned. but of course they need to go all the way, and we support the Federation for Women Lawyers. We support different organizations who try to encourage and assist women to stand for elections and to move to higher positions. In Denmark, we have a queen, which is, of course, it's a monarchy, and we have a woman as prime minister now. So in Denmark, my party leader is a woman. I feel marginalized.
Well, everyone is talking about middle class, and perhaps looking at that sort of group that can be able to that is supposed to bring about that sort of change in as far as democracy or any sort of economic growth is concerned, and I can stand to be corrected. I know the US is doing that. Everyone is talking middle class. I know you are also focusing on middle class as well as part of your new strategy. Tell us exactly how that is going to happen in as far as encouraging the middle class to take up positions of responsibility, more specifically in terms of politics and governance is concerned, as a bloc.
Well, free and fair elections is key. We support that part.
Yes.
We support a number of, as said, civil society organizations who try to engage also with the middle class. I believe, a strong and vibrant civil society is key in order to encourage people to go forward. I come out of civil society in Denmark as well, and there are the organizational skills you get in the civil society organizations where you engage in your society, and I think it's critical. That's a good way also to engage many middle class, also women, men, everybody in taking responsibility for their society, and from there you can grow to higher positions. So those are some of the areas that we try to support. But then also the business community, of course, is critical for the middle class, and there, if you go back, I guess a lot of Danish assistance was targeted directly to the poor, and it still is, and we are absolutely, the purpose of Denmark having a partnership with Kenya is to make poverty rates go down and assist poor people. But you also recognize that sometimes, the middle income have to be drivers of change. So take the farm or the agro processing plant for mango that I opened in Malindi. There are some middle income farmers, rich farmers there, but then there are also some small farmers, and bringing it together. And then there are a lot of jobs, 120 jobs in this plant, just and so there are a lot of jobs in that sector. So you have to be in a more nuance, but we are absolutely obsessed by having poverty rates going down and helping the poor women, the poor, and children also. If you look at maternity health and under 5 mortality rates for the children, too high in this country still.
There is no possibility of reducing poverty if there's corruption. You have mentioned the fact that you assist in efforts to end corruption. Some of us think that corruption in this country is just talk and do nothing. There is no political goodwill to end corruption, particularly high-level corruption. This government came into power in 2002 with a clarion call of zero tolerance to corruption. But there's been mega corruption in this country after that. How is your effort getting fruit?
I heard that impunity is over. The days of impunity are over. I heard that.
Not in this country.
I heard it here. I heard it in this country. And I think the press here has a vital role. And corruption is cancer in a society. It spreads. and it stops everything, so we need a strong dedication, and for that, I think Denmark, is one of the richest countries in the world. We have one of the lowest corruption rates in the world. There is a correlation, because a lot of corruption is blocking, and especially poor people, they pay the huge toll when they have to, the police, everybody, So it's an important issue. The press here, I think, is quite vibrant.
So
we also
specifically, what do you do to help us
we support a number of civil society organizations also who are fighting against corruption and demanding transparency and demanding open accounts.
I don't see the effort anywhere. When I look around and see, I don't see what they're doing.
It's true, but I think the tide will turn, and I think the new constitution, and I think the counties, we will have a more transparent and flexible system, and I'm encouraged that impunity is now over, and I hope corruption has to be taken very seriously in a country like Kenya, because it is a cancer, and it's going to block you, in the future. Because if you have to pay to get things out of the port, if you have to pay the police, if you have to pay all over the place, companies will not. They will shy away. Danish investors, they can't come.
Question here from the public. The raft of questions pertain to how they're able to get access to organizations like the Leader. I'm just saying, what have you set up, and how can one access assistance from your government, or from organizations representing your government in terms of agriculture and so on? That's what somebody wanted to find out. How do they access these resources to further their...
Well, people are always welcome to contact the embassy, and if they have good projects, if they have ideas. We have some specific programs that we work within.
Yes.
So I'm not saying it's easy to just walk in from the street and say, can you give me some money?
You have to have a good proposal.
You have to have it, but within those areas, we, of course, and in agriculture, we work with a number of these value chains, as I said, in mango, in coconut, in cashew, and try to make sure that the products can go all the way. So if you have strong activities there, if you are knowledgeable about how to process cashew nuts, or have a good, you're most welcome. But it's these value chains is what we work in.
Okay.
So you can't just come with anything. We have to focus. We have to be good at something.
There's something very powerful you said in terms of there's a correlation to corruption and economic growth. Yes, and poverty. It's powerful. So there must have been something that your country did specifically to begin to change the mindsets of people, to begin to think in that direction, that we have to support government in fighting corruption and in fighting impunity. Looking at how we're doing it in Kenya, what can we learn from your country in terms of how you manage to change your people to begin to think in a certain direction? Economic growth, good politics, fight against impunity is an all-round fight, not just the people sitting in national assemblies or White House, State
I think
House.
you have to fight hard for transparency and accountability downwards. At that health clinic, social accountability, people being able to see how much money goes where and control that it ends up at the clinic or the school. That's, building it from downwards upwards. And then transparency internationally. Or in the government, in any organization, put out your budgets openly, freely, so people can check you, control you. The parliament can control the government, all these checks and balances, civil society, free press. That's how you fight corruption. And transparency, accountability, that's absolutely key. I've been into India a couple of times also. They have now a Right to Information Act, where people, they can seek information in anything.
We have one here as well.
You have it, exactly, and they do it. They use it, and actually now, it's a tremendously important tool to fight corruption in India, because people can check everything, and I think that's part of the Danish success: a transparent society, openness, and then you have to build a culture of anti-corruption, and then of course an independent judiciary who can take people to.
Seem to have that as well.
The Constitution takes us somewhere here, I think.
Yes. Are you doing anything about political parties and the development of... Because democracy without political parties, strengthening of political parties, maybe through civil societies, because for you to have a strong parliament, you have to have strong political parties.
Yes.
But here, this country, people hop from party to party.
In total disregard to the law.
In Denmark, we have much more party discipline, I think. And the parties are perhaps stronger. And we work from Denmark to support party development. We also support here the development of stronger political parties. I think it's a good point. And in many poor countries, I don't say Kenya, but in many poor countries, political parties are definitely the weakest link in a democracy. And making sure that these political parties are well rooted, and members, and have a program, so you can see what do I vote for, I think that's important.
We have voted for tribes.
Perhaps you need to change that.
As you wind up, a couple of questions from our viewers, and they're asking two basically pertaining to health. Yes. How are you applying a rights approach in health? Let's just do that as a final one.
Well, the rights approach is
to health. Yes.
Is transparency from the top. People can see the money, and then social accountability, so that the communities, the nurses, the doctors. I went to this health clinic, They had big signs. How many patients have we treated today? How many women? How many children? And they had a big sign on the clinic, when did we receive money? We received this much money that date. And when did we receive the medicine? So people can check it. And they had a board at the clinic also where the patients could see this has to be for free. I don't have to pay for this, and this one is free, and this one I pay 20 shilling. That's transparency, so people can control it themselves.
I know you have to run for another interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Stay with us. We'll be right back.